You're listening to Old Skool Movements. You understand?
You're with us again. Yes, me, Darren, Daz, the Dazzler, Lucas, and also Christopher, Chris, Krim, Rymel, and Steve, Soundman, Stacks, Lewis in the house. Give me them horns! And guys, you know, kids movies in the 80s, you know, there's so many we can talk about, as we have in previous podcasts. But you know, all the ones that were blockbusters.
There's them same old movies that everyone has in their top 10.
Come up every Christmas time, innit?
Yeah.
They're classics. They're classics. But
like, if you went to look for 80s kids classics, they're always going to come up. But what about the ones that wouldn't come up, but were still good? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Like, alternative 80s kids classics.
Kids classics.
Yeah. So, guys, as I was saying, like, you know, the normal top 10 main ones. So we got, you know, your Supermans,
Your Star Wars are always going to be in there.
Star Wars, the Rocky films,
The 80s.
That's
Bond.
it. Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Would you put Bond as a kids movie? I mean, I loved Bond as a kid.
Yeah, but it was PG.
Yeah, and they've been going from time before, like, so you had all them ones from the 70s already out, and there was more coming out during the 80s. They were good kids films.
They come on every Christmas to remind you that Bond was still in the atmosphere.
There. Yeah.
But guys, what was your favourite Bond film, guys?
Ooh. My favourite ain't from the 80s, it's from the 70s, I think. Was it Live and Let Die? That's like early 70s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Live and Let Die. It's always Roger Moore. I don't really like anyone else apart from Roger Moore. So Live and Let Die is the best. But I also like, from 80s, For Your Eyes Only. That skiing opening. I think that's one with the skiing.
Oh, yeah.
He pulls the
and
parachute.
That funky music.
Yeah, that's wicked, man.
Mate.
They're the two for me.
Yeah, same for me. Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die.
What, not Moonraker? Moonraker was
good, still good.
Moonraker's good.
Octopussy's good. Yeah, Octopussy was good as well. But...
And what's the one that they done in Doctor No?
That's the first ever Bond. Sean Connery.
That was early, yeah.
But as Chris was saying,
Sean Connery is the Bond.
Is that your Bond?
Yeah. So
actually, no. I do like Sean Connery. Sorry, no. Roger Moore is my Bond, but I don't mind Sean Connery as well.
Gentleman Bond.
Yeah. Roger Moore, Live and Let Die. That's the best Bond movie.
That's the one. Even though it was 70s, it was bit, it was already
but
out.
We saw it in the 80s.
So we saw it early.
We saw it on TV in the 80s.
Exactly. Yeah, it was one of them ones you saw early, and it's just wicked. Soundtrack, the characters in it. It was wicked. That was a wicked one.
Did you ever go cinema in the 80s to see a Bond film?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I got taken a lot. I think my dad took me to a few. I think For Your Eyes Only was the first one I saw at the cinema. So I was young, but I do remember them opening credits and me just falling in love with the character and just thinking, Roger Moore, and he is the 007 for me. He's the Bond.
Yeah. I you know what? I think we went to see Timothy Dalton's first Bond film.
And View to a Kill. Definitely View to a Kill. And I think you're right.
I didn't like Timothy Dalton.
Might have been Living Daylights or one of them sort of ones.
Living Daylights was his first one, wasn't it?
It might have been. It was one of them sort of ones. But we definitely went and saw View to a Kill, because I remember Duran, and that's the one that had what's the actress? What's her name?
Grace Jones.
Grace Jones. Yeah.
Grace Jones and Christopher Walken was the villain.
Yeah, it was the villain. Yeah, young Christopher Walken in them days.
Yeah, that was good. So Stacks, you don't like Timothy Dalton?
Nah, not feeling him at all.
He weren't the greatest.
I'll be honest with you. Anyone after Roger Moore, I'm not really feeling.
Yeah, they've been a hard pair of shoes to fill.
Very hard. Like Roger Moore is Bond.
Yeah.
I
think Daniel Craig's doing an alright job of it though, because I do have that version of Bond as well. You know, the no shit taking, but he hasn't got the comedy egg
suave.
He hasn't got the suaveness and the proper gentlemanness
of
Roger Moore. Like he's the best.
But the Bond suit each decade,
they do.
Roger Moore came in the Carry On, Benny Hill,
the safari suits,
saving dames atmosphere. Times have changed now.
Times have changed, exactly. That's why I think Daniel Craig does suit that sort of modern image of Bond.
Yeah, because like I wasn't a fan of Pierce Brosnan.
No, he still drive-by fruitings.
Eh?
He still drive-by fruitings from Mrs. Doubtfire. That's all I see. When I see him, that's all it's a drive-by fruiting. Yeah.
When he got the lemon dashed on his head or something. Yeah. he wasn't Bond for me.
He wasn't that. It's always been Roger Moore. The same with the ones before, Connery and the old
George
Lazenby. Lazenby. Yeah, they're not. No, for me it's Roger Moore, mate. Definitely.
All the way.
Yeah. So all those blockbuster films. We could talk about Star Wars for days, but
we mentioned them. We've probably mentioned quite a few of them in previous podcasts as well. They always come up. They're them ones that always get spoken about.
Yeah.
But there is, like you said, there's a whole list of other ones that you don't mind watching if your parents walk in, because they're cool films. Your parents ain't going to say, turn that off. What's that?
Exactly.
There's a whole list of ones still.
You're not watching Evil Dead or Terminator or something. Because let's have it right. In the 80s, those were the films we were watching as kids.
Yeah.
But
pretty much.
But we're going to go down to the PG zone on this podcast for films that your parents could pop their head through the door and go, "Oh, he's watching that. It's all good."
It's all good.
Okay.
And then when they got me switch it over.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go for this list in no particular order. This is just a compilation of movies we like. So Eddie Murphy now. So Eddie Murphy, when we was watching Eddie Murphy in the 80s, he was full of like foul-mouthed, action, Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, Delirious, all the rest.
He was known for the language, wasn't it?
He was known for the bad language, always 18-rated films, 48 hours, but we loved them. They also are films we watched as kids, but in the
Get
PG
the fuck
zone.
out of here.
Yeah, but for us, he went into the PG zone and delivered us in 1986, The Golden Child, man.
Golden Child.
It wasn't Eddie Murphy in his prime, but again, it was Eddie Murphy for the PG zone.
Yeah.
It was
the
first. Yeah, it was the first, wasn't it? You were excited to think I can legally go to cinema and watch an Eddie film without folks. We can just go as a group can go. That's what made it good. Yeah, but it was a big hit, really. Not as big as the film before that, which was Beverly Hills Cop, which obviously, again, because of the hype with the language and whatever, you wanted to see it. That just the trailers sold that alone, innit? You could watch the trailer of it and think, I've got to go cinema and see that, or I've got to try and get hold of a copy of that somehow. But but that was the big hit for him. 234 million that made. Whereas Golden Child, 80 million, but still, it's a massive hit, man, for a film.
Yeah, it's a cult hit.
Kids film with no swearing in it.
Yeah, and it was the 80s. It had that whole 80s atmosphere, the 80s action, good versus evil. Charles Dance as the villain, as the devil, and Eddie Murphy protecting the Golden Child, man. It was a laugh. I went to cinema to see it, and I was entertained. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not one someone always talks about. If you list Eddie Murphy movies, and not really.
It don't get mentioned at all, does it? Definitely. It's very rarely mentioned, man. I think he avoids talking about it as well. I remember hearing one interview where he says he says it's his worst film he's made, but I don't think it is.
Was worse than that.
I've seen plenty of worse Eddie films than that.
Exactly. When did he say that? In the 80s or recently?
I think the interview I saw of that, it was sort of mid-90s, I think, or in the 90s. He'd already done some clangers since then. Like you say, Best Defense weren't. Again, that's got a couple of moments, but it's the highest. It's a hard watch, man.
Beverly Hills Cop 3 was bad as well.
Yeah, that was
terrible.
Only because it was coming off the back of the other two that made you want to see it. But otherwise, it was terrible.
It was terrible.
I think we've spoken about that before. He had problems with directors and stuff, and I'm sure they walked out, and then they got him back, and it was a mess.
Yeah, Golden Child was much better than Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Yeah, definitely, man. Golden Child was good. Like you say, it was a kids' film. It had some wicked little liners that that you still remember today. Like I want the knife and give me the knife.
Rubber Nancy and I remember the Pepsi can.
That was wicked.
Dancing and that.
I used to try and make that. I used to try and slice up Pepsi cans to try and recreate that little tap dancing character.
I remember that actually, very vaguely.
Do you remember the Golden Child? I'm going to say herself, but it was actually herself. Do you remember the Golden Child was a little girl, innit, in real life? Playing the character. And it's the only acting job or the only acting role they've ever had. I don't think they've ever done anything. She never done anything after that or since.
Okay.
But no, I liked it. I like Golden Child would be in there as a watchable film.
Definitely.
No,
You remember that bit at the end where you thought Eddie Murphy's character, Chandler Durrell.
Chandler, yeah.
Who remembers that? Who remembers exactly? Who remembers that?
It's like Superman's dad.
Yeah, Chandler Durrell. Who remembers that? You remember Axel Foley? You remember all the other characters? You remember this? You remember Chandler? He didn't even look like a Chandler.
I never heard his name even mentioned in that.
No, as soon as you said it, I remember it. Yeah.
But yeah,
he gets
remember the scene
a couple of times
near the end where he's walking through, and then you thought he got rid of Charles Dance, he just busts out through the floorboards.
Yeah.
You know the 80s was prime for the jumpy bit.
Oh yeah,
Film had that jumpy
someone didn't
bit.
bust out of a grave or out of floor.
Yeah,
It wasn't really worth watching.
So that was a nice surprise to have in the film. Though. But no, it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but hey, it was an 80s memory. It was an 80s memory, and it was a good film. And I say Murphy went into the PG zone.
Yeah, and it fitted in them days. You know, you had the Big Trouble in Little China's and like the Goonies, and it was all of them sort of bit smudged into one with Eddie Murphy chucked in. I think it was all right.
Yeah, I
liked it.
So this next movie, again, like Eddie Murphy movies, we couldn't see this guy's movies back in the 80s unless it was a violent movie, unless it was Terminator, unless it was Commando, unless it was...
We saw them, but we weren't allowed to see.
We weren't allowed. But this is the film where, again, the parents could put their food on, oh, he's watching that, that's all right. You know, Conan... Conan was the movie, Conan the Destroyer was the, the sword and sandals Schwarzenegger time. But then he toned it down and appeared in Red Sonja.
Red Sonja, 1985.
1985.
Based on a comic book as well.
Based on it's a Marvel comic, I believe.
It was a Marvel comic, Red Sonja. Yeah, based on a Marvel comic. 1973 it first come about from the Marvel comic, and they turned it into a film. So was it like prehistoric times, wasn't it? It was the same times as
It was
Conan.
the sorcery times, then
the same destroyer,
sorcery,
barbarian.
furry boot times.
I like their times. They were good. I think it was a Hyborian age, is what they call it.
The Hyborian age.
The Hyborian age.
It was when. Did you know that Schwarzenegger was having an affair with Bridget Nelson? Making that film at the time. Yeah. Dirty boy. He was on Schwarzenegger.
She's been married to.
That's the thing. But it was like Stallone and Schwarzenegger was having a tug of war for her. It's like Schwarzenegger dates her, Stallone marries her. So there's Rocky IV come out just a year after, I think.
Just
Red
after
Sonja.
that. Yeah.
So in that space of time, she was with Schwarzenegger, and then Stallone's well, you come with me now, and married her. And she's like, you're gonna have her. I finished, yeah.
Just come over and get the chopper.
She's on my chopper.
Well, she can come back with me and be Rocky IV, and you can be Rocky's wife. But yeah,
she done some other films with Arnie though as well. I think, didn't she? Cobra. She was in Cobra with Stallone.
She was in Cobra with Stallone.
I'm sure she was in something else with Arnie.
Maybe not. I don't think Stallone would have let her. But so yeah,
you don't let, man. You don't let.
Yeah, you don't know about it, go. What are you doing? What are you doing, brother? What are you
win this time?
That's how cheating is done. I'm afraid, okay? They were against each other a lot in the 80s, isn't it? So you can imagine the dynamics.
Yeah.
Like
that was a proper tug of war.
What, you better than me then?
Who's better? You got bigger muscles?
Who's better? Who's better in the bedroom? But
Adrian!
Like 20 years later, she dated Flavor Flav, didn't she? Yeah.
I didn't know that shit, man.
She loved the 80s.
Yeah,
she's stuck to the 80s.
She's stuck in the 80s.
Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Before he done that TV
show. After.
She's like 2 foot taller than him or something, isn't it?
She's massive compared to him.
She's massive. I remember seeing the two of them thinking, hey, how does that work?
Yeah. Crazy. She loved the 80s, sticking to the 80s.
It's another film that Schwarzenegger said it's the worst film he's ever done. Apparently, like he said, growing up,
kill no one.
He probably. He said, like, as punishment with his kids, he used to make them watch it. Like, if they used to get out of line, he said,
Yeah, you watch this movie, it stinks.
I like you in this room, you're not getting out. Do you remember another character in it was the English wrestler? I think he was a wrestler, and I think he was in Alvida's Empet. Guy called Pat Roach. Remember Pat Roach?
Wasn't he also in Indiana Jones in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
I think
he
he
the guy
I think
that
he
got
got
the
the
propeller?
propeller. Yeah, he was. And he's in another film we'll probably mention as well. But he got around a bit as well in the 80s.
Yeah,
he was in some of these.
He was a henchman of the 80s.
Yeah, henchman of the 80s.
Of the 80s, Pat Roach. Yeah. That's it.
And also, I remember it had Ennio Morricone done the music to Red Sonja
because
as
it
well.
was a good soundtrack.
It had a good soundtrack to it, yeah. All of them barbarian.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack. Yeah, and it had the little Filipino boy. You know, the little, he was like Scrappy Doo. He's like,
Scrappy Doo,
just angry.
One of the geese out of Mad Max, one of them little characters. Character.
No, Red Sonja wasn't, I can't remember the villain. But
no, I can't remember the villain. I don't even remember seeing anything of the villain. So I know all the cast was a bit mishmash. They only got Bridget Nelson casted 8 weeks before they actually started shooting. It was all there. They all planned start shooting here, and it was shot in I think it was in Italy somewhere originally, but they only got her in, and that was only from someone seeing her on a cover of a magazine, the director or the producer, and they had to fly to.
Show the picture to Schwarzenegger. He's like,
yeah, he must have go get her. So she was in Milan at the time doing the fashion.
Little chopper. Yeah.
So they flew to Milan to get her, met her in Rome, done the screen test in Rome.
How are you?
8 weeks later, they started filming in the Alps, and they used the Italian Alps for the scene.
Yeah, you can see. Yeah.
Even and another thing you can see as well. After I say this as well, after they started shooting, they then decided to hire a scriptwriter. After they started shooting.
Wow.
How does that work?
Wow.
When Arnie films, you know,
this is improvised.
Just get him on camera doing something, making some noises.
Wilderness sword, isn't it?
We'll think about some talking later.
We'll just put bits in later. Damn, wow.
But it was a good film, like you say. It was a PG. It was the first one we could go on Jack's.
You could go and see it, and that's why it's in this alternative for us, because it was a Schwarzenegger film, but it was a PG zone. You know,
your parents wouldn't mind you watching it.
Your parents wouldn't mind you watching it, man.
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It bombed as well. Made about 6 million, I think, at the box office, and it made like 18 million was the cost to make it. So bombed again. But I liked it. We liked it.
We liked it. So that's good enough. Another one when we were young. So Michael J. Fox hit the scene. Back to the Future was the film, all over the place. But I remember going to see Back to the Future, and you know, you had so many trailers before. Before that, I mean, after that, you had all these Pearl and Dean. You had all these trailers and adverts and stuff. And then you had a trailer for a film with Michael J. Fox in before you see the main film is in.
Yeah. I remember this.
That didn't happen a lot.
They come out at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, hey. So that's like 1985's TeenWolf, man.
TeenWolf.
So like TeenWolf again. It's if you were born in the 80s, late 70s, TeenWolf was a film that you know. Even though it's overshadowed by Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But it still had.
It was still a good film.
But it's still a good film. Yeah. But again, it's like when you talk about Michael J. Fox, all you're talking about is Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But
a lot of people
for me, I like TeenWolf. I liked
it. It was one of them school movies, wasn't it? Again, it was one of them perfect kid films at that age when we were like, the age we were watching it. It was perfect, man. About a group of kids at school, whatever, him dealing with having to be a wolf part of the basketball team.
But the thing is, he did look like a wolf. He looked like Chewbacca's son. If Chewbacca sent his son to Earth and shaved his face a bit, spoke to him in Chewie language, sent him to Earth and said, look at Earth for a minute, but shave your face a bit. You're a bit hairy, son.
The dad character as well. He looked like Chewie's dad or something.
Yeah.
The dad character, he used to look wicked.
Right, but and it was weird because like the top girl fancied him when he was a wolf.
When he was a wolf, but not
when he was normal.
What kind of bestiality in a film? Like she was feeling him as a wolf.
Bestiality.
What kind of thing is that? There's a scene where they're doing some scene, but he became an actor in it for the school.
Yeah.
And she was the damsel or something, and then they went backstage, and then you hear him howling and stuff.
I remember. I forgot about that bit. I only remember the bit is towards the end. He blanks her in the end, didn't it? And goes back to the.
He goes back to Booth. The
Booth,
girl
from
around, the round the way girl.
Yeah, around the way girl next door.
Yeah, and he had his sidekick dude, his promoter. Styles, remember the guy with his Hawaiian shirt? He
came back in the sequel, but obviously Michael J. Fox didn't say it was him and the chubby guy. I think he was called Chubby, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was him.
They were like the main characters.
The dad was in it.
And the dad, they were the main characters in part 2, but without Michael J. Fox.
That was Jason Bateman. That was that.
Yeah.
Took that role.
We spoke about this in sequels before.
But TeenWolf had its moments. Him dancing on the top of the van. That Styles had.
It was wicked.
And even breakdancing, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. No, it was good, man. It was good.
But let's move on, man. And that was a PG. Come on, bestiality and bloody
PG behind the scenes on stage.
Behind the scenes on stage, the man pissing his pants. And shit. when the principal got scared when the dad came back.
The dad comes in and shouts at him.
Yeah, remember?
He pees his pants.
Right.
Now TeenWolf in a long time.
TeenWolf.
You don't see it about.
Very rarely
all these
they
films
play it
we're
back,
mentioning now, they don't come on the telly no more. This is what we're saying. Like these films are not seen that much. You might see one.
Yeah. They remade TeenWolf, made it some like Twilight look teenage series.
Series. They remade it as a series because in them days, back in them at the 80s as well, they did have a spin-off. I think cartoon TeenWolf.
They had a TeenWolf cartoon as well.
They had a few little spin-offs of that, but more recently they have remade it, and I haven't seen it, and I don't even want to see it.
No, you don't want to see it. Let's just stick with Michael J. Fox.
That's what we know. You can't.
We're going through changes. Oh, mate, TeenWolf was classic. I love TeenWolf.
So what else we got on our list?
Staying in the animal zone. Men looking like animals. Okay,
Animal
so
magic.
We got this movie. This movie came out in the 60s. Came out in 68, right? But I obviously saw it in the 80s, and it had an impact on me because the whole concept of this movie and the end just freaked me out.
It did me, man.
Mate, Planet of the Apes. Charlton Heston.
It was another one, like you said, because it come out in the 60s. You'd see it on the TV at Christmas. You'd see it. It'd be on quite a bit. But I remember I was the same as you. The first time I see it, that end bit, I weren't expecting that either. I weren't expecting the twist in the story to be what it is. Don't want to spoil it for people who ain't seen it.
Oh, come on, everyone's seen it, man.
It's 40 odd years old, isn't it? Have you ever seen it by now?
No spoilers.
It's like part of a trilogy thing though, isn't it? And I can't remember the ones after that, or I think there might even have been one.
See those ones? They were just disasters of they were you know when we're talking about sequels and the sequel podcast, we should have included those because they had nothing to do with that great standalone film. You know, that's just in my mind, that's just a standalone film.
It is a standalone film.
He ended up
must-see films
with gorillas owning New York, basically.
They had like a spin-off TV show, which I remember it had most of the same people in it. I think, and it was okay. I didn't mind that TV show.
So that was on Channel 4, wasn't it? Sunday morning.
I don't know if it was before then.
But before then, it must be on ITV. You know the days when Hulk was around, Kojak, and
it was on
Starsky and Hutch. It was all that kind of. But Planet of the Apes. The reason why I've got that in there, you know, I think it was a PG as well. And it was, you know, it wasn't action packed. You know, it was slow moving and stuff. But it was just the science of it. It was just the madness of it, the insanity of the whole film. As a kid, seeing that type of film, I enjoyed it. It
was based on a book. Do you remember as well, like the way it was, like the monkeys had a hierarchy?
Yeah, the orangutans, the apes, the gorillas.
I love that, like about how you imagine. What if it's like that in the wild, like that? The orangutans do this.
It is.
The chimps do this.
Standard.
It's
like within the species, let alone all of them together.
It's it is another thing you might remember as well, and it was only. I remember it. I do remember seeing it after I saw it. But there was a comic strip parody of it in a certain magazine back in the day, and it was called "The Milking of the Planet That Went Ape." and it was in Mad magazine. They used to have a whole page of it.
I don't remember that.
And it was all drawn, but it was a proper parody of it. But I remember it when I saw a couple of pictures of it. I remember like you'd flick through the you remember Mad magazine? We used to fold the back cover. Yeah. It had the geezer on the front.
Yeah, the big ears.
I used to love that magazine, man. It was
I don't remember that.
They used to have a comic strip in there of it ran for a couple of years. The milking of the planet that went ape was their parody of it.
Oh, but I loved them, and I love Nova. You know the girl in it.
Yeah.
Oh mate.
I don't remember that. I can only remember a couple of them.
Nova. Mate.
She was gorgeous. Heston, with it, man.
Yeah, Charlton Heston. Get your hands off me, you dirty stinking ape.
That was the first time he spoke. He lost his voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
The character lost his voice.
They called him Bright Eyes. Bright Eyes.
Bright Eyes.
Fucking apes. Fuck you, you apes. Fuck you. Fuck your bananas.
It's like Apocalypse Now in monkey time.
But that's fucked up. When he realised he was in New York all the time, that's messed up. There's nowhere to. You are home. You are home.
I was as shocked as he was. Yeah. I've been sitting at home. I'm as shocked. My chin hit the floor. I was like, oh my god, he's been there all the time.
But the soft blow to that is he's got Nova, mate.
He's got Nova.
He's got Nova. And so, yeah, mate, yeah. Okay, so now, Dennis Quaid. He was around a lot in the 80s.
He's done a few films in the 80s that were good for kids. PG-rated films. But I wasn't feeling him as an actor much, man.
Nah.
I didn't like his films too much, man, but he done some alright ones.
What were some of the good films that he done?
One of them.
We're going to talk about them now.
Yeah, one of them. We're going to probably talk about a couple of them.
It's a good thing you said that.
One of them's Enemy. One of them's Enemy Mine. I don't know. Not many people know this from you. I know you know it, Deeks. We probably watched it together a few times. 1985, Enemy Mine. It also had Louis Gossett Jr. in it.
That's right.
Which he was wicked from. Was it Iron Eagle?
Iron Eagle.
Them flying. Flying games. Them flying films.
Flying films. Yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr. was good. And but they were both sort. I can't vaguely remember.
It was a war between humans and the Dracs,
which were alien
alien species. Yeah, so the humans and the Dracs are at war, and these two, I think their ships crash.
They have a dogfight, and they both crash on a planet.
Crash on a planet.
They don't know. They don't know
this
planet.
So they're both alien now on a planet.
Yeah.
And so they
fight for days on this planet. I remember them at first fighting each other in it. Every time they see each other or whatever, they're always shooting, fighting each other, whatever.
But you know, they form a bond, and they become good friends. And
it's different to like your normal sci-fi.
Exactly,
film.
Because in the 80s, it's all about buddy movies, wasn't it? Buddy, you know, cop movies and so on. But this had a different angle. It was like, you know, an alien and a human both being alien on the planet and getting through the difficulties, you know, together.
Concept though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good concept, and it was that reason because like when they originally started it in 1984. They had a director, Richard Longcrane was the director back in 84, but something happened and he fell out with them after 3 weeks of trying to shoot this in Iceland and Budapest. The producers of it fell out with him. There was big budget overruns and it just, the quality of it was crap. And because where they were filming in Iceland, a lot of the daylight weren't about, so the continuity just weren't working. So they ended up binning it with him and trying to get another director in, and they went for a guy called Wolfgang Peterson, but he was already working on Never Ending Story at the time, and they agreed. And he said, "Look, I don't step in and do other people's films. Like, you know, I'm not that sort of dude." But after he read the script, they said, "Let's read it." He read it, and he thought, "Yeah, this ain't like your normal Star Wars story. You know, it's not good versus evil, and it's different." So he stepped in to take over. And what the deal was is he said to the producer, "You got to wait until I finish Never Ending Story before I start anything." So there was a bit of a delay between them. But then he took them, I think, to Germany and shot most of it in Germany. In Stetson Studios that he already knew there. But it's a wicked.
Yeah, it's one that, as you say, it's one of them films a lot of people talk about and not a lot of people have seen. And I don't even remember seeing it in the cinema. I remember seen it on
straight to video.
Straight to video, but again, it's one of those
videos in the posters in the video shops, and it was just there. Yeah.
So okay, let's check this one out. As we were movie connoisseurs as youngsters.
There was a guy I knew from secondary school as well who went for a voiceover casting for it, but he didn't get the job. But I remember him going to do the voiceover of the kid, even though he doesn't speak English in it. whatever Drax language, or whatever. But he didn't get it. But I remember that's how I sort of remember hearing about it as well at the time.
Yeah.
But it was also the first Western sci-fi film to be shown in what was the Soviet Union back then. So it's got a big cult following over there, and I think from what I sort of read, that's where it's made most of its money from that side. It didn't. I think in the end it was like a budget of 40 million because they had that weight and moving to another country and whatever. And at the box office it made about 12.
Enemy Mine.
Not many people know of it, but a good film, worth a watch.
Definitely. So this next one, I think I saw this on TV. This And again, I think there's another film I didn't know what it was about, and it's type of film where you go to your mates. Did you see that film? It had this in it, had that in it, had this person in it. But it was from the beginning. The
opening credits onwards.
Opening credits. When you see,
strap yourself in,
mate.
Sit back and just watch.
Right, when you see Farrah Fawcett in that Lamborghini, first you see Lamborghini, then you see Two Hot Women.
With some wicked tune that starts coming on, like it's like, hold on.
Yeah. And you're like, hold on.
Like, what's this music?
Oh, watch this movie.
What's this bit? Lamborghini.
And then you see Sammy Davis Jr., Dean Martin, and Burt Reynolds. And it's Cannonball Run, man.
Cannonball Run.
That was
1981.
That was like live action wacky races.
Yeah, proper.
It's based on a true thing, though. You know that it's based on a true thing. Yeah, the Cannonball Run does exist, and it existed before the film, and they based it. It still exists now. It's from one side to the other side of America, the quickest way.
Like, what's the other one they do? Gumball Rally.
Like the Gumball Run,
right.
That's more across continents or something, isn't it? Whereas this one's just across America. It's from Connecticut to California. It's an actual cross-country outlaw road race beginning in Connecticut and ending in California. So you're sort of outrunning the local sheriffs of each county you're going through.
Cannonball Run was major. Like
Cannonball Run was wicked. It had everyone in it. It was just, you loved cars, you liked the girls, you liked the actors that was in it. It had everything.
It had everything in it. Look, James Bond was in it. Captain Chaos was in it. Jackie Chan was in it.
Jackie Chan was in it.
Sammy Davis Jr. was in it.
Jr.
Come on,
Dean Martin.
Dean Martin had his comedy. Dun dun dun.
Captain Chaos. I think that was Dean Martin's last appearance as well. It's, that and the sequel, because the sequel come out in '84. So they were the last two films that Dean Martin ever appeared in. Like,
that was '81 Cannonball Run.
81 and '84, yeah. But the one I remember, I think it was Cannonball Run. Him and Sammy Davis, they dress up as vicars, don't they? Or priests or something. They try and hide away to get away from the law.
The first one they were police officers, and then the next one they were.
That was it. The vicars, always drunk, always drinking.
But do you remember that doctor who was drunk? And whenever you saw him, they played like Dracula music. He had a syringe. That film was crazy. But the scene I loved when it all converged to the gas station. And all these dudes come out wanting to have a row.
Big
with
fight.
Jackie Chan's girl or something, and Jackie Chan started kicking off, and all had a big
wicked.
And he saw Kung Fu. And he saw dun dun dun. He come out.
Him.
And everyone had a piece of the action. Even that. Remember the guy that had a gorilla that looked like it drove the limo, but he was driving it. At the back. He had this orangutan and an orangutan.
Because he was like Clyde out of the Clint Eastwood films, isn't it? Because you'd already seen them Clint Eastwood films.
And then every time we just clap people in their face.
It was wicked, man. It was wicked. Do you know as well that film was produced by Golden Harvest?
Was it?
The Hong Kong, the Kung Fu. That's the Kung Fu factory, isn't it? That's the link there. That's the link.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like some.
That was his second Hollywood role. I don't know what his first was, but it was his second big role in Hollywood for Jackie Chan. But yeah, it was wicked. Do you remember as well at the end the outtakes? I used to love watching the outtakes.
Yes.
Outtakes they're as good as the film. You could watch the outtakes.
The outtakes were good. The outtakes were good. And the second one had its moments too. Yeah. The second one, because the first one had Roger Moore playing Bond. Yeah. The second one had Jaws in the car with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cannonball Run. They're excellent.
Like Cannonball Run. Yeah.
Can't be it.
Great. And that was kids' entertainment. So Dennis Quaid, as we were saying, he was in a lot of films in the 80s, and he popped up again on this alternative 80s kids films that we got, and that's the one where, you know, with Martin Short as well. Is it Martin Short? It's Martin Short,
yeah, Martin Short, yeah.
And Meg
also
Ryan.
Martin Lawrence, but yeah, Martin Short.
Meg Ryan. Inner Space, man. Inner Space.
Meg Ryan and Dennis, they met on this filming on this film, and they married just after from meeting on this film and working together. I think they got divorced about 10 years later, but they had a little family together, and that's how they met on the set of Inner Space.
So what was Inner Space about then, man?
I remember
It was a scientific project,
some experiment
like Ant-Man
going on
or something.
Yeah.
And
they could miniaturize people.
And look through the human body for science.
Yes.
But
am I making this up?
Yes, that was it.
And
he'd been miniaturized for some military weapon, I thought. But in the process of them putting him into whatever weapon it was, someone stole it, and then in the chase of them stealing it, they stabbed
he went
it in
inside
the back
Martin
of,
Short,
who was just a grocery shop worker, wasn't he? I think he worked behind a till in a grocery shop, and he was like a hypochondriac anyway, who worried about everything, and he was the perfect character for that role. He fits that role, so he wins the film for me.
Definitely,
his
Martin Short,
he's a wicked actor in it.
No, it was good, and again, that's a film that doesn't really get talked about a lot, but it was good the way it was smart for that time. But, you know, 80s, you know,
87.
Yeah, but what makes that film good as well is that they didn't make a sequel.
No, it's only been that one.
You know, it's a standard, and that's really good. That's very rare for a successful film to not have a sequel. You know,
I think I read somewhere that off the back of that is what gave them the idea of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Which that had a few sequels, so I think they went. I think it might have been that same studio or same company went down the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids route. I'm sure that had something to do with the visual effects that they used in that. I think I remember reading that. Also, I remember reading the original cast. They wanted the Dennis Quaid to be Michael J. Fox, I think, and the Martin Short character to be Schwarzenegger. I'm sure I read that. Or it might have been vice versa, but I heard it was Michael J. Fox being injected into Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm inside the body.
Get the fuck out of here.
What am I doing? Please get out.
Them two could have made quite a good film, I think, on that sort of. But even the other way around.
Schwarzenegger would have been Martin Short's character.
That's what I read somewhere. Yeah, he would have been the guy who got injected into.
That's crazy.
So it would have been him being, the character in Twins or Kindergarten Cop. You know, he played that sort of.
It's not a tumor. Yeah.
I just don't think it would have worked.
I didn't mind them sort of comedy-arny films growing up.
Our next alternative 80s movie. So, you know, you had Star Wars, and Star Wars was killing it. But this film decided to come in between Star Wars times and get a little piece of the action. And this film was kind of like inspired. This kind of inspired Star Wars. George Lucas would watch these series, the black and white series of this, and we used to have the black and white series of this as well.
Program,
and so, you know, it made its mark, and it had a cult following, had the soundtrack from Queen, and mate, it's Flash Gordon, man. Flash Gordon, 1980.
Do you remember? Like, I know it was early 80s. But do you remember anything of it coming out? I just remember it being on video. I remember it being
being on video.
I remember
it being one of the first Betamaxes I used to see. It was that old.
Yeah,
I remember seeing it in video
level.
shops on Betamax.
Yeah.
They always had a Flash Gordon. If they had Betamax selection, there'd be a copy of Flash Gordon.
A copy of Flash Gordon, him just posing in that red and black vest. Ming's face in the background. And you know, the font, it's just that font that's
it's proper colourful, isn't it? It's like a circus poster almost.
Yeah,
like, it draws you in.
Yeah, that poster was a great poster, and the film, I'll say, it had a cult following. And I wasn't. Do you remember watching the black and white series of Flash Gordon?
Bits of them,
like, you know, you had like, you used to have the Lone Ranger black and white, Zorro black and white.
Zorros,
you know, like 5 minutes. To be continued.
The Superman was great. Remember the Superman?
Up and away and all that. You know,
I love that one.
And Flash Gordon was one of them. Yeah. You know, what would happen to Flash? Watch next week.
Find out next week. Oh, yeah. I love that. Yeah. I used to watch him.
those kind of things.
He was always trying to escape from somewhere, always trapped somewhere.
Yeah, Ming,
Or
like some rock cave.
Some rock cave. A rock cave. I was going to say a rock cave. Polystyrene rock cave.
Yeah.
In the studio somewhere, yeah.
But the film, I don't know if it done those black and white ones justice, but
yeah, it seems different.
It went its own way. Do you know what I mean? But I was impressed with it. It wasn't, and it's like it's trying to be its own thing. It didn't try to compete with Star Wars.
Yeah,
it had its own little things going on.
Yeah,
you know, and it was just a simple dude, an American football player, just gets sent to another planet, Mongo.
He ain't got a clue what's going on, has he? He's just like, how did I end up here? I'm just trying to chase this bird about.
Exactly. he saw a bird get on a ship, and she's going to Mongo. He said, "I'm going."
Crashed out asleep, whatever they do.
I'm going Mongo. I don't know where the fuck it is, but I'm going Mongo with this bird and this bearded dude.
He's bearded with a gun.
Spaceship, and we're seeing what's going on in Mongo.
Dr. Zarkov, is it Zarkov or something?
So, you know, the acting was terrible. The acting was real bad.
Yeah.
Watching it again, you notice how bad the acting was. But hey,
what made it is the costumes, the set designs, and the music. That's what drew you into it. It was them three things. It was a lot to look at. You know, the music was good.
When you say a lot to look at, Ming's daughter.
Ming's daughter was a lot to look at. Yeah,
she was hot. Ming's daughter.
The amount of attention to next level, dude.
That's what it was, mate.
Ming's daughter, mate. It had Timothy Dalton in it as the Baron, the green, Dalton. The Baron dude. Had a guy from Blue Peter.
The X007, the guy from Blue Peter, Peter Duncan, wasn't it?
Peter Duncan.
Gets his hand bit.
Yeah, they have to put their hand in a school pit, and there's some scorpion pit, some mini scorpion pit, you know, to prove their allegiance to the Green Baron gang or whatever.
Damn.
And Peter Duncan, he got scorpioned, man. He had to go.
He gets it.
Ming was good.
Ming was good. But I was right. Was Ming meant to be Oriental? Like I got it in mind that they've used a Western actor and tried to make him
done that
look
all
right.
the time, though, didn't they? I mean, how many
right.
times have they used a non-Oriental person?
Exactly. That
was standard.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. Unfortunately, but Ming was green. I'm sure he was green before.
Was he green?
Yeah, when I've seen like Defenders of the Earth cartoon, I'm sure he's green. I'm sure later on.
Yeah, he was green in. Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know the black and white version what colour he was. But...
You can't see what colour he is. Yeah, but you know, he's normal colour in he's normal colour in the film. But I think he's green.
Yeah, I've seen him green sometimes. But no, the
comic books.
But Ming was a great character in the film.
Yeah. There was other, the Hawkman.
Brian Blessed, Gordon's alive, and all that.
Dive, wicked.
Why
did they need rocket cycles? Why did Hawkman ride rocket cycles?
Exactly, they had wings.
They were lazy.
They had wings and they still had rocket cycles. But maybe it's for guests. It was the guests that didn't have wings.
It was for the guests. Oh,
So
they couldn't piggyback
lucky.
them.
Exactly.
Carry a pigeon, then they had to have a rocket. I got it.
So they thought ahead. When we invite our guests who can't fly,
take
rocket cycles. So that's
dive.
You still love that bit when they're on that circle, the Baron and Black on that circle,
the spikes
and the whip, and that was different. Give me the remote.
When like his punishment of being caught with his daughter or something, he stuck him on that. I can't remember that.
See, that happened to you, D.
That's a wicked film, man. And it is like you say, it's a cult film now. It's got its following now. It's massive,
like
man. And you don't see
acting, but no.
You don't see Flash doing much else these days apart from playing cameos and stuff, do you?
Yeah, he was in Ted.
He was in Ted. Ted is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But no, Flash
was good, man.
Flash was good. Flash was good. Soundtrack's amazing. Love it. So. This happened a lot in the 80s. Like, you'd walk into a cousin's house or someone's house and just see something playing. Just see a video, because video was the big thing. So someone's always watching a video any time of the day. So you walk in the house and you see a copy of a film. You know, sometimes it was a pirate. Mostly it was a pirate. Lines come through. And you go, "What's this film?" You're looking at it. And you're getting into it. You know, you just came to you just passing through. But then when you realise you're sitting down on the sofa and you're just watching this film, and you go,
"You get into it now." You get
drawn in.
I'm sitting here for an hour and a half now.
Yeah, I didn't know about this film. I didn't see a poster for it, a commercial for it or anything. And that had Patrick Swayze and Leah Thompson from Back to the Future, who played Marty's mum. She's also in it. Okay. And that's Red Dawn.
See, I'm going to confess, I know nothing about Red Dawn. I've never seen it.
Have you ever heard of it?
Nope.
It's one of them ones you used to see the cover in the video shop. Like you say, I never saw an advert for it, never saw a preview, never saw a trailer before another video. That's what you'd see most of what films you'd get. You'd see the trailers, isn't it, before your video. This is one of the ones you used to see the cover, and I must admit the cover weren't great. I remember it was like a red sunset over like a mountain scene, a bit black, but it didn't draw you in, so it looked boring. But it was one of them days. Eventually, like you got round to renting it, or someone might have told you rent it. But it's a wicked film, man. I remember being shocked how good a film it was. Like you said, the cast was good. Patrick Swayze. Was it the woman out of is it Lorraine? She played Lorraine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Back to the Future, wasn't it? I think who else was in it? There was a few.
There was a few. Charlie Sheen was in it.
And also Jennifer Grey, who was this before? This was before Dirty Dancing, wasn't it? 84 it come out.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it's before Dirty Dancing. Yeah, Jennifer Grey was in it as well. And also the guy who was in a lot of these guys done films together. The guy out of Outsiders, Pony Boy with the blonde hair, where he dyed his hair blonde in it, and he was also the main lead in Soul Man. You remember?
Okay, yes, that terrible
that
film,
character.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
I really like that film, D.
Oh, that feels whack.
That was messed up, wasn't it? They were all quite young in these days, isn't it? And they what I remember about it, they played, I think.
The Wolverines.
The Wolverines. I was going to say, I think that was like their college football team, wasn't it, or something? And all the guys were like this football team, I think, the Wolverines, and they just named their little gang of mercenaries the Wolverines. Yeah. What was it? Russia invaded. It's based on like World War III.
Russia invaded America, and they
out of the blue,
and they descend on
parachuting.
And just shooting people.
And
they descend on this small town where this group of kids live, and they took their parents and put them in like camps and stuff. Yeah. And they rebelled. Yeah. And
it left the youngsters to fight back, sort of thing.
Fend for themselves. Yeah. Yeah. I'll say it was that kind of film where there's always that's like a good night out. You know, when we were little. Our equivalent of, that night out where you say, I ain't doing nothing tonight, and then you end up having the best night going out and stuff. That was what films were like. You didn't plan to watch a film, but then you're just sitting in someone's front room going, this film's right.
It turns out being a wicked film. There's another thing I remember. It also got into the Guinness Book of Records. I know we were talking earlier about these films that not many people get killed and stuff, but it got into the Guinness Book of Records for being one of the most violent films at the time.
Did a lot of people get killed in that film?
Yeah, it had 134 acts of violence per hour, which equated to 2.23 acts of violence per minute. And in the re-released 2007 DVD that came out, they've actually got a kill counter on the screen. So every time someone dies, the counter goes up to prove it. I remember there was a lot of shooting and stuff, but it was more like the 18 for me.
It's more like the 18, I
remember explosions, but people just got up.
Yeah.
It was a different storyline to other. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't see nothing with those storylines.
No, I didn't see nothing like that. It might have been the first time I see Patrick Swayze acting.
Another great film, man. I love that film. It was a good film to watch when you were young.
So the last one I'm going to mention. Now I remember seeing this. I think leaving the cinema after Superman 2 or something. I don't know. And seeing this poster. You used to walk out of ABC in the Hamptons and see a poster as you come out of watching a film. There's a poster of the
coming soon.
What is this? Yeah, coming. Wow, looks amazing. Based on Greek mythology, coming from the back of Jason the Argonauts and all the Sinbad films. That's Clash of the Titans, man.
Clash of the Titans.
The 1981
version,
the remake.
Compared to this one, you can't.
Yeah, this one again. This came out while Star Wars was killing it, but it had its own, time, its own shine. Figures didn't sell well. I remember they had figures that come out.
Yeah, they did have figures. They didn't sell well, but watching it
watching it
was different, wasn't it? It was that stop-go emotion.
I saw it earlier this year as well.
I could do it watching that again. I've seen the newer one recently, but I haven't seen that old one for a long time.
Yeah, the old one was on one of them old Sky movie channels.
TMC or something.
I've seen one of the
kids weren't that into watching it, but I was like, I don't care what you want to watch. I'm watching this.
Reminisce, yeah. I think I've tried getting my one to watch a few of them. She's not into them. She don't like it. But I saw one of the Sinbads within the last couple of years, because it wasn't like a trilogy of films, but this was in amongst a load of other films with that same style, wasn't it? It was it Raymond Harryhausen?
Ray Harryhausen. Yeah,
so,
that's right.
See, I remember recently I saw Sinbad Eye of the Tiger, maybe in the last few years, and that was one of my favourites as well. But that was going back from the 70s, Eye of the Tiger. But you had the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, Jason and the Argonauts, Seven Voyages of Sinbad. Yeah, they're all wicked, man. Some of the characters.
Sinbad goes to Ibiza.
Which one? Which one was he fighting the skeletons in?
That's Jason and the Argonauts. No, it's Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah. That's at the end of Jason and the Argonauts. Yeah.
That one's wicked. Yeah.
That one is
good.
Yeah. But Clash of the Titans had like every other scene was a Ray Harryhausen effect. You had because in Jason and the Argonauts, that skeleton scene is that's the spectacle of the film. The rest of it is not a lot. You had Talos, the big statue that comes to protect their boat.
Undone his thing, Didn't they have another character in that? There was another film, I think it might have been one other Sinbad. He was like a furry. He weren't the Minotaur, because they had that metal Minotaur dude. But they had a furry dude with a horn and one eye.
Yeah, I remember.
The Cyclops
dude. Like a Cyclopsy dude. Yeah, I can't think what one he was a wicked character.
He was one of the Sinbad ones. But Clash of the Titans just had continuous effects all through the film.
That was your Medusa, and that was that one when he went to go and get the head.
Yeah, Medusa. You had the Pegasus. You had his little golden owl.
When he came out with the head, the golden owl.
Of course, the shield,
the golden owl,
sword,
the helmet. You had the two-headed dogs. Before you met Medusa, you had to get past those two-headed dogs. You had the big scorpions that Cannonball let loose. Cannonball.
He used to scare me a bit when they chopped his hand.
He was a creepy dude.
He's a creepy dude, man.
Ginger afro. And it looks a bit like. Have you seen that film The Business with Danny Dyer? And there's the other ginger dude.
Yeah.
That's Calabos with horns. Mate, the dude was evil. Like, as soon as you saw Calabos, it was like, because sometimes it was an actor playing him, and then from a distance they used the Harryhausen effect, so you see his tail. The stop motion, see his tail when he's in motion and stuff. Yeah. And the way they done that is like every time done the close up, it was the actor playing it. It freaked me out.
It was wicked.
It was wicked. That ginger afro and the horns popping out of it. He just freaked me out.
The whole Medusa bit, that was
brilliant.
Freaky in that.
I love that bit.
Place, man.
Yeah, the whole Medusa scene, how all the soldiers got taken out one by one. Remember, this is a kid's film. They got taken out one by one for bow and arrows, and he had to chop her head off. Remember, this is
and walk with it in a bag as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The bag with a blood dripping out of it.
Yeah. Because he had to kill the Kraken. That's the only
to save the girl.
That's killing the Kraken. When he let loose the Kraken on Argos in the beginning. When you see the Kraken going to Argos, no, he didn't have a pen and order like some dumbbells.
Or just some dumbbells or a bum bag.
Yeah. I've got 6 arms, can I?
I know, bum bag, you know.
He had 6 arms, didn't he? But
that's funny.
So
was Poseidon in it as well? Am I getting confused with someone else? The guy with the 4 trident, did he come out to do something?
I think he come out to get the Kraken. I think he
helped or something, innit? I'm sure he's in it as well. So they bring him out. I love them films with the Greek gods. Man. They look down though and they see him.
See what's going on,
And him the owl to help him. It's wicked.
And it had
you know what, that golden owl.
Yes.
Yeah, Mickey. Don't get him rock.
Yeah, Mickey in it. Yeah, of course. It was wicked with Mickey in it. Yeah.
And Calabos wasn't even the main villain.
No.
Like, he was dead halfway through the film. And the Kraken was the bigger problem. You know, so Clash of Titans, loved it.
Recommend all them films. They're all a good watch. All of them.
Recommend all them.
Sinbads and
all PG. But
definitely.
I think we sneaked Red Dawn on the sly. I think that was 15. That might have been 15.
Could have been because of all the kills in it, because it has got that kill
But hey,
list. Still,
if your parents put their head through the door and saw Patrick Swayze, they'll say, "Call you." It's fine.
Yeah, they think you're watching The Outsiders. It'll be alright.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Dirty dancing.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our alternative 80s. You know, we could have mentioned Flight Navigator. Some of you might like Short Circuit.
I saw Flight Navigator recently, actually.
It's
really bad.
Last Starfighter. It is really.
We might have to go through maybe like an alternative sci-fi. We could probably do a good few sci-fi ones like that.
So
Krull,
Dune.
We could go through a few of them sci-fi.
There's a few we can go through, but maybe, yeah, this is part 1 of our 80s alternative movies.
Yeah.
So, guys, where can they find us, Chris, man?
You find us on all the social medias, find us on Instagram, Old School Movements, find our group on Facebook, follow us on that. That's the best way of keeping up to date. Go on our website. Website has got a built-in embedded player so you can listen to all the shows, see some pictures of us and some of the guests we've had. Find us at www.oldschoolmovements.co.uk.
The very informative Christopher there. Stay safe. Thank you, guys. Yeah, we out.
Peace.
Those were the days I remember.